Hola, hola! Welcome to the Breakthrough Brand Show. I'm Fabi Paolini, and my mission on this podcast is to give you the behind-the-scenes stories, anecdotes, and unique perspectives behind building a premium brand that makes a real impact. I believe that when you create a message that is aligned with your truth, you can have the breakthroughs that changes lives. Each week, me and my guests share with you how we're making an impact with our message and the stories behind our success. So that being said, let's dive into today's episode. Well, today I'm really excited to welcome Kristin Ostrander. She is the founder of mommyincome.com, host of the Amazon Files weekly podcast, where she helps others start and grow their businesses online through Amazon. And I'm really excited to learn a little bit more. Welcome, Kristin. Can you tell us a little bit more about what you do in your own words?
Sure. So I help people start and grow businesses on Amazon with my company that I founded called Mommy Income. And we use a unique approach to Amazon. There's many ways where you can kind of make money through Amazon and create a business for yourself. And so I serve those who want to start and grow with e-commerce, whether you have your own private label product or you're just considering something to another business that you can do digitally and remotely. That's what I teach people to do.
I love it. Well, I want to hear, how did you get into this?
I'm 20 years. So I've been in e-commerce for 20 years. I started way back when my husband and I were high school sweethearts, basically, and he is in commercial construction. So he's like either like 60 to 80 hours a week or kind of nothing in the wintertime. There's not a whole lot going on. And out of necessity, I needed to help bring some income into the family, but I had two small children and I didn't want to have to go outside the home. I wanted to be with them somehow and also be able to earn money and run a business and be flexible with that. So I started with e-commerce, started selling on eBay, just flipping things from, yard sales, my kids' own stuff, and then eventually headed into Amazon where I started doing some things there, started with used books and then moved up to wholesale and private label, and then eventually my own hybrid model, which is wholesale bundling.
So interesting. I can imagine that there's so many kind of lessons that you've learned along the way, because I know so many people building an Amazon business. And obviously, it feels like it's something, or I think that people think that it's something simple that they could figure out on their own. But I kind of have a sense that it's not as simple as that. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Sure. So with Amazon, of course, there's pros and cons, right?
Mhm.
Amazon is the largest global marketplace on earth. It reaches almost every country. They have buyers and Prime members in almost every country that is available.
Mhm.
With the internet, you can buy things on Amazon worldwide. So it is very big, robust, different than say selling on like Mercari or eBay or something like that, to where it's like just a little bit easier, less of barrier of entry. Amazon has a lot of rules and policies because they're such a large corporation and global. They have to have policies and rules and things like that. And you could easily get chopped off at the legs if you don't know what you're doing. So yeah, it's not, I would say it's not complicated if you know the rules and you can navigate around them. It's just like knowing the road rules. If you don't know them, you can get in trouble, you can get a ticket, you can pay fines, you can get arrested even, but not in Amazon. But if you do things the wrong way, they can kick you off. They can say you can't sell here, you're not legit. So it's a very legitimate business model. I never call it a side hustle because it's a legitimate business. They send you a 1098 every year. They expect you to claim your income. They expect you to follow all of their rules. So although it's not complicated, it can be quite simple to do it. And if you have a product, it's the best place to sell online, regardless of where you are. There's some strong competitors out there, but thinking of starting your own Shopify store, if you have your own brand, that's all amazing as well. But Amazon, let's be honest, when we're all trying to buy something,
I only buy it through Amazon, basically.
right? So because of that, everybody knows Amazon. I actually did a survey recently of all of like the, not just millennials, but all of the age groups that's like below mine, like 30 and below, so 18 and up, have smartphones, and said, what's the number one app you guys can't live without? And you would think it'd be like TikTok, Snapchat, things like that. They're like, no, Amazon. Every single person that is like under 30, I swear, has Amazon, and they want to order because they don't have time for that. They want experiences in life. And so Amazon is the best place to be selling products. And so if you have a product line, if it's something, and it's also a great way to generate income for yourself, depending on how much income you want and how much income that you want to earn, depends on how much effort and time you put into it. But because it's such a global market and place, and people buy everything from their groceries to their clothes to shoes to patio furniture. So the sky is really the limit, not only for buyers, but also for those interested in selling products on Amazon.
Yeah, that makes sense. So tell me, I want to hear a little bit more about your process within Amazon first, and then I want to switch to mommy income. So what I mean is, I think that sometimes people have this perception with everything, and this is true about everything, mind you, that things can happen overnight. And I feel like I want to kind of dispel that a little bit in the world, because the truth is that everything takes work and it takes effort and it takes, knowledge and dedication and investing money into coaching with people like you, or, different things to be able to get the results that you want. So I want to hear a little bit about what your own journey with, like, building your own business within Amazon was like, and then we'll switch over to talk about mommy income.
Sure. Well, it's part of the mommy income journey as well, because I started the company after I had success with my own Amazon business. So just getting the processes started, it's really, opening your account and getting all verified and making sure that they want to, Amazon's very specific about verifying your identity. They want to make sure there's not bad players. There's been a lot of, knockoffs and things like that coming from other countries that they're just like, we don't want to do this. So they say first the verification process, and then it's really about figuring out what type of products that you want to sell. So part of I would say signing up for your account and then deciding, okay, I want to do wholesale products, or I have my own private label product that I've been selling. There's a lot of different influencers that have their own brands and things like that. So it's like, I want to reach a global audience and listing products on Amazon. So the very first thing you need to do is define what it is that you want to sell. Now, like we just talked about, the sky is the limit on what. I mean, everything from makeup to groceries to, again, gas grills, anything that you want to. And then really just getting started on what your goals are. And I love what you said there about the fact that this is a business. Most businesses do not make profit even in their first year. If you look at businesses across the board, I'm talking like United States here, that most businesses actually cost about $30,000 to start, and they usually take 12 to 36 months, 3 years almost, to become profitable. Now, what I love about Amazon is that you can start a little bit faster and make a little bit more money even instantly. But again, it's not this overnight success. We're talking about a business model. Now, I've reached over 7 figures in the past 5 years every year, and consistently, like you said, it takes work. It takes building a strong foundation. So it's a business. So say, if you want to start a business with Amazon, having realistic expectations is really important. I would say within the first 3 months, you'd be making some profit, making some money, and learning the ropes. So it's really about knowing and deciding what you want to sell. And of course, I always give a ton of training about that. As a matter of fact, I have some free stuff on my YouTube channel teaching you how to find vendors of products that you can sell on Amazon or anywhere. So really the process is just finding things to sell, deciding what you want to sell, setting up your store. And I don't touch any of my inventory. I don't drop ship, but I use a third-party warehouse so that I'm not a shipping and receiving, warehouse. Yeah, so I started like that and did that for many, many years. And then use a third-party warehouse where they receive my inventory and they repackage it in the ways that we do. Basically a gift, wholesale bundle, which is what I do. Is a bunch of products combined together. So think subscription box, right? You've seen a subscription box maybe for female entrepreneur, or maybe it's all about your hands and manicure or whatever else. So we're curating similar type boxes or gift sets or kits for different things, accessories, and combining them together. Because some of the downside of selling online is that there's a lot of fees. There's shipping fees, there's storage fees on Amazon. Amazon, of course, takes their nice commission from that. But overall, you're reaching 300 million Prime customers every single day when you're selling on Amazon. So it makes it worth it. There's a nice balance there. So it's basically you're running a store. You're running a store, except for all of your inventory is online, and you don't have to pay employees to stand there.
It's so interesting. Okay, so then tell me how a little bit more about the process. Well, I mean, obviously you just walked me through the process of what it takes to set up your store, but I want to hear more about Mommy Income and how that brand has grown and kind of what your own process. And I mean, I imagine that, and you mentioned it before, like as you started to become more and more successful with Amazon, you were like, okay, I need to teach other people how to do this. But I want to hear then a little bit more the behind the scenes of how
Sure.
that part of your business grew too.
Sure, absolutely. I had no idea that I was even a teacher or a speaker or a trainer or any of these things. Before that, I was just building my Amazon business kind of behind the scenes. And obviously, it was when Facebook was coming up more with the groups. And to me, the groups were the best because I could go there, get some advice from other sellers, and they could get some advice from me. We're just trying to figure out the logistics. But as I was jumping into some of these groups and I'm answering questions for people and I'm realizing, hey, I know quite a bit about this Amazon stuff. I've been doing it for 6 or 7 years at that point. And so I was helping a lot of people and realized, and then someone invited me. They said, I've got this, live show that we do every single week. We'd love to have you on as a guest to talk about your Amazon success. And so I was like, sure, why not? So it was this live show. I did that. My segment was only 15 minutes. And yet people from the chat were like, we want to hear more from her. We have more questions, like have her on again. And then someone reached out to me at that point and said, maybe you should do your own show. You have so much knowledge and so much to share and you're so helpful and all this stuff. And I thought, well, why not? Like, why not do that? This was back in 2014, early in 2014. So I just set some things up and I thought, picked a few topics, and like every week I started to just go live and share what I knew about Amazon, answer people's questions. And as people were asking, I was realizing what their problems were, what their issues were with Amazon. And I'm like, oh, I can help with that. And the same people were like, not the same people, but the same questions were coming in. So I decided, maybe if I just create like a training, it was even just like a 1 hour training of like how to get through some of these steps. I wonder, if people would be interested in that. And of course, as soon as I released this, one course, I had no idea what I was doing. I was just putting some information together that I thought would be really helpful to solve some of these issues that people were asking. And so that's how I built kind of my first course. I took a lot of the frequently asked questions that people were asking me and kind of put them into a curriculum. And I guess that was kind of the beginning of my teaching at Mommy Income. I opened the company many years ago because I was just the mom making income and I wanted like a .com, and I thought, okay, this will be fun. And then it turned into me actually teaching some other moms that were doing similar things to me, setting up their Amazon accounts, making some extra money even at home, and turning those into real life legitimate businesses. It's not just a little side hustle. You make $100 here, $100 there. I mean, it's legitimate money. So I just love the success I've been able to bring out of other people. That's what I realized as I was teaching, that I thought, this is what I meant to do, to really help bring out everyone's highest potential that they don't see in themselves.
I love it. So good. And is your show, it's on YouTube, right?
I have a YouTube channel and a podcast called The Amazon Files. So my Mommy Income, I'm Mommy Income everywhere. So YouTube channel and all the socials. And then the actual podcast is called The Amazon Files. And so we just talk about the different issues and news, and have different guests on to talk about everything Amazon, and help you just continually scale and grow and find success on Amazon.
What I really like, and I found interesting, and as I was looking through your website before, is how specific everything is. And for me, the more niche that you could go, the better. And obviously you're doing Amazon, but you're also going even more niche because you're talking about these wholesale bundles as well, from what I saw on your website and you mentioned before. Was that strategic, or was it something that just happened because it was what you found was more effective for you as a strategy?
Actually, the latter is I have tried, as being on Amazon for so long, I've tried all of the different ways to make money with Amazon. I started with thrifting, books, going to yard sales and estate sales and thrift stores and sending in books, and then realizing, hey, there's a whole wholesale market out there, and what can I do about that? And finding some wholesale. And then realizing the margins were super slim. So all I was doing is solving my own problems. I was like, well, wholesale's great, but you have these expectations that you're going to get wholesale and everything's going to be like half off it is at Target or something like that, and you're going to get all these great margins. And what you realize quickly is a lot of these retail stores, Walmart and Target and even higher end stores, they're working on really slim margins. So they really need to sell a lot of volume to make a decent living. Now, of course, when you're Walmart and you have billions of dollars, you can do that. But they're more like a volume seller. They're selling millions of products at pennies on the dollar, and overall, they make really good volume. But the trouble with that online is that it's a lot to manage and a lot of logistics and a lot of product to move around when you don't have a store that you can just receive a pallet and put things on the shelf, right? And you have your space. So doing it Amazon wise, they charge storage fees. So you have to have more of a sell through rate, which means that you just don't have unlimited shelf space to sell whatever you want. You want to be able to sell less products for more profit margin.
Right.
And so as I was doing wholesale, I realized, well, this is working. Everything I did was working. That was the hard part. The hard part was I'm making profit. I was making profit thrifting. Problem was that took 60 to 80 hours a week to run a business, and you're running all over trying to gather inventory. That wasn't scalable. So I thought, okay, what's next? Is wholesale scalable? So I tried the wholesale, and I was like, okay, we're going to buy, we had to buy thousands of products, and we're like, oh, we're making a few dollars here and a few dollars there, and you have to sell so much. And I thought, there's got to be a better way. So what do we do next? We tried the private label side, and we did this all simultaneously. I never cut off one version and then do something else. So I was kind of building these different things, and then realizing private label, it was taking so much time with the samples back and forth and the different things and kind of all that it took about 12 months and almost $15,000 of tying up all this stuff just to get one product launched into the world. And so I thought, well, that was okay. I mean, I loved the experience, but I thought, that's not really, first of all, I didn't have pockets deep enough to constantly launch a product that's going to take a year or even 6 months. And then with COVID and everything else that happened, that was making things a lot slower. So while I was thinking of all these things, I thought there's got to be a way to do this differently. And so I realized combining wholesale products that lessened my Amazon fees. It also helped the customer. They realized, like a guitar set, for example, I've been selling little smalls like guitar picks and amps and little small stuff. And you realize that, like, hey, most people want to buy all of this stuff together.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So it's like, if I'm going to buy a beginner's guitar, you're going to need all the stuff that goes with it. Or like having a new puppy. You have a new puppy. If you don't have any other dogs, then you have to get all the things, right? So like a new puppy kit is an example of a wholesale bundle. You're buying different products from different brands that are high quality, good products that every puppy needs. And then you're putting it into a puppy kit and selling that on Amazon. So you don't have to sell. So that's building in our margins. Instead of making $1 or $2 on each product, we're making $10 to $20 per product. So you don't have to sell as many. And so putting them in kits saves the seller money, and it helps the customer solve their problems without searching for every little puppy thing that you need, right? So I created that. At first I called it poor man's private label, because you are private labeling a product. You are creating something that you're combining, and it's your own brand. But my brand is a subscription box, or like a gift basket company. That's what I've branded myself as on Amazon, so that I make all kinds of different combination gift baskets for multiple occasions. So with the wholesale bundles, I realized how to find that sweet spot between the private label, who you get all of the money eventually when your product launches and sells, or wholesale, where things sell quickly, but you're making very small amounts of money and you have to do large volume. So I hybrided wholesale and private label into my own wholesale bundling.
I love it.
It fast tracks you don't have to wait 12 months and all this other stuff, because the products are already being manufactured by other companies. But the private label aspect and the whole personal customized that we do, when we don't customize anything, it's everything is standard. Right. But what I mean custom is like putting the boxes together, so that you're not reinventing the wheel completely, but you are somewhat being creative to create this new product, which then helps you make money a lot faster, rather than waiting for so long and having, something manufactured again. So I've tried all of it, and this was really the one that finally helped me hit my 7-figure mark that I wanted to hit.
That's amazing. How interesting. And, I want to tie this in with something that I usually ask my guests, and it's about the importance of personal development and mindset. And I feel like it ties in perfectly with what you're talking about here, because you were continuously innovating and looking for different alternatives, and not just kind of like, oh, okay, let me just stay with this version of how to do Amazon and either private label or doing wholesale. Or you were like, nope, let me do something different. Tell me a little bit about the mindset behind that, and how important that is for you.
I love that question. Gosh, it's just so many things. You don't give up when you don't have any other choices.
Yeah,
and I decided that long ago that I wasn't going to put my own limitations on myself. When, my husband and I went through a lot of hardship when he was still working at work, commercial carpenter. He got hurt and injured at work, and he wasn't able to work for a long time. He had surgeries and physical therapy and all that. And most people assume that if you get hurt, at least here in America, if you get hurt, you usually have some at work, you usually have workers' compensation. They give you some of your pay while you're recovering, things like that. Well, that doesn't always happen the way people think it happens. And the amount that they actually give you is sometimes none, which is in our case, he was injured and they decided that this was more a degenerative kind of issue. It wasn't caused by a work or work related. It was just like, you're getting older and have a bad arm, which of course wasn't the case. But then they just said, no compensation. And you have to take us to court and we have to prove all of it with doctors and this and that. So long story short, they didn't give us compensation. So he just couldn't work. I had a newborn baby and I had this small little business it was a business, but it wasn't enough to pay a household of five bills and carry us all through. And so we lost our home to foreclosure. We lost everything that we had. And when I say that is the personal development there is when you have no choice. You have no choice. You have to work. You have to bring it in. You have to take care of your family. And I just decided that I didn't have a choice. I didn't have a choice to be like, oh, I'm just going to sit here and try to make this work many times. If it wasn't working, it wasn't bringing in the income. And I thought I got to do better. I have to do something different to bring in the money that I want. And honestly, I love my work, but I also love my life and I love my family and I want to spend time with them as well and not always constantly be working. So I'm like, I'm just an efficient person too. I'm like, how can I do this faster? How can I do this better, easier, eliminate steps? Anytime you can eliminate touch points or steps in any of your processes, you automatically give yourself a raise. If you're making, I don't know, I'll just put a blank number out there. If you're making $100 an hour and then you can do something in 20 minutes rather than in an hour, then you literally just gave yourself like at least a 30 to 60% raise. Like I can do this in 20 minutes. I still get the $100, right? So I'm really efficient and I like to be really efficient and say, what's the fastest way to point A to point B? And if it's not working, change it. You don't have to be married to something. If it's not working anymore, it's time to pivot and change. And I'm a big risk taker. I'm not like a huge like gamble person, calculated risks. I can't let fear stop me because I have a goal. I need to get to this certain level or get to this certain thing. And so you have to have that mindset that no one's going to do it for you.
Yeah.
No one's going to do it for you.
So good. Oh my God. It's so powerful. Everything that you've been through, it's amazing. So I think that the other thing that I wanted to ask you is about your marketing for Mommy Income. What is the main strategy that you focus on to grow that business? Is it through your podcast and your show? Is it going on other podcasts? Obviously that always helps. I want to hear a little bit about that too.
Both. So I appear on a lot of podcasts, do a lot of speaking. I even, I love writing. I wrote a book and that's part of what I share with people. And the book is not a how-to Amazon book. It's actually just more of the mindset and more of a, how did I get through a lot of these hardships and a lot of these circumstances? And, people have had many worse, circumstances before, but just kind of defining, but the book's called Dream Big, Step Small. And that's the idea there is that I dream really big, but I'm really small about the practical, consistent steps when it comes to that. So with the marketing, it's like compound interest. A lot of people give up or they jump ship too fast and they feel like they have to be everywhere. What's really, really important is no matter how niche you are, getting in front of the right people that want what you have. What problem are you solving with your training or your coaching or your program or your product? I say this to my people all the time when they're creating products and putting these boxes together. What problem or need are you meeting here in the marketplace? And because I have a unique approach to Amazon, my marketing is really just about continually putting out value for my students, value for people that are watching on YouTube and want how-to videos, creating content that helps them. And when people feel helped, they want to come and be helped more. Be like, oh, this person is the go-to when it comes to Amazon or marketing or Facebook or whatever it is. And you want to go to that person. And so I really just am consistent about putting out fresh content every single week, but then also visibility. I'm knocking on the doors and being on every podcast that I can be on because I have $1 million business strategy. And I know there's a lot of men and women and even young people out there that want an alternative way to
Mm-hmm.
support themselves. And that was what was really important to me as my personal value. I knew somehow that there was a way to enjoy what you do, to be creative, to use all your skills and your gifts and your talents and make a decent income, but also not sacrifice what's important to you. For me, what's important to me is my family and my friends, and just spending time with them. They're not young for long. I have two
Yeah.
grown ones now. They're older, and just to think of that, that time is really precious to me. And then the time that I look forward to spending with my husband when my kids are grown and moved out, I want to be able to have the resources to enjoy our lives. I feel like so many people work themselves to death and they hate their jobs and they dread doing all that. It's just for a paycheck, and I just feel like life is too short. I want it all, and unapologetically.
I
But I'm
love it.
just grateful that I get the opportunity to do what I love, to serve people and help them with their success, and also protect my time and still enjoy life, because work is not life.
Nope.
It's not, and most people think it is.
Exactly. Oh my gosh. I love it so much. Thank you so much, Kristin, for being here. Well, you already mentioned, but where can people find you online?
I'm at Mommy Income everywhere. The YouTube channel, the podcast is called The Amazon Files. I'd love to everyone take a listen, and I would love to connect with you anywhere at Mommy Income. We are all the socials and the YouTube channel there.
Well, thank you so much for being here. This has been absolutely amazing.
Thank you so much for the privilege.
Gracias for listening to today's episode of the Breakthrough Brand Show. To listen to more episodes or to be featured as a guest, go to fabipaolini.com/podcast for more details. Can I ask you for something? If you got value out of this episode, would you share it on social media? Just do a quick screenshot with your phone and text it to a friend, or just post it online. If you know somebody that would be a great guest, tag them on social media to let me know about the show and include the hashtag Breakthrough Brand Show. I love seeing your posts and guest suggestions. We're regularly putting out new episodes and content. To make sure that you don't miss any episode, go ahead and subscribe right now. Your thumbs up, rating, amor, love, and reviews go a long way to help promote the show and mean so much to me and my team. Want to know more? Go to our website, fabipaolini.com, or follow me everywhere as Fabi Paolini. Thank you so much for listening. I'll see you next time. Con amor, Fabi.